We've talked about the spells of both the Winx and the Trix, and now we're gonna finish this off by talking about the best Convergence spells of both teams, though mostly the Winx. Convergence started off interesting back in the first 3 seasons, where the girls found creative ways to combine their already impressive powers to kick ass and unleash the rainbows of hell upon their enemies. Literally. I actually appreciate that the 4Kids dub differentiates combining versus converging powers. Convergence creates an entirely new magic all its own through a fusion of powers, and applied to the original's emphasis on understanding yourself and your own magic before Convergence can work properly, it becomes an excellent metaphor for the girls coming into their own as people, understanding their faults, overcoming their fears, and learning to work together to kick some ass. Unfortunately, Convergence from season 4 onwards seems to forget this notion entirely. Modern Convergence spells almost exclusively amount to only an orb of light where the girls fight with the literal power of friendship. By which I mean the power to resolve the conflict in the most generic, boring way possible. As such, we're gonna celebrate the best Convergence spells, pretty much just from the first 3 seasons with some additions here and there. This will also count combined efforts between the girls in season 1 that I find cool, solely because I find them cool. And also they serve a similar function as Convergence spells, so, you know. When the Winx battle the Yeti in season 1, it's clearly one of the most difficult foes they've faced thus far, especially given they're still freshmen at Althea. Even though Bloom is without her magic at this point, she still serves her role as leader by coordinating the other girls throughout their spells during their mission to Domino, including the final attack on the Yeti. Yeti? Snow monster? I forget if that thing had a canon name. I'm just gonna call it the Yeti. Tecna traps the Yeti in a giant static sphere. Flora then creates several buds all across the cage, which Stella helps blossom with her sun magic, followed by Musa spinning the flowers with her sound waves until the cage explodes. It's visually a captivating way of showing the girls bringing all their powers together to take down a dangerous adversary. My god, these girls, oh, I'm surprised they don't have more charges of property damage and arson. We also have the Morphix Warrior from season 2 during the girls' Convergence exercise, followed by an entire episode of squabbling and Aisha feeling particularly left out as the new girl. She winds up providing the base for the other girls to work from, the literal foundation. She creates a figure made of Morphix, which Flora gives a backbone with her vines and ivy. Tecna provides a brain for it to become sentient. Bloom gives it a will of its own with the flame of life aspect of her power. Stella gives it vision, and Musa grants it the ability to recite an incantation with them to destroy Darcy's monster. It's a creative way to visually demonstrate the girls' ability to work together. Also, I just realized Flora giving it a backbone as she develops her own backbone this season. Oh my god, wow. Season 2 is so good, y'all. Put some respect on season 2. From here, we get some smaller, albeit cute, Convergence spells. Flora and Musa's Floracoustic Barrier doesn't get much shine, but it's a cute little idea to combine their powers, and the name is also a brilliant pun. Musa and Tecna's Barrier in season 3 to protect the library books provides a shield of musical notes that, to me at least, have a very 8-bit aesthetic for Tecna's contribution. Enchantix's Convergence spells are a lot of fun too, like Musa and Aisha's Rubber Chord Bounce to send attacks back at their enemies, or Musa and Stella's Songbird Sleep to put enemies, well, to sleep. I am a bit bitter, especially now realizing it, that Musa gets more Convergence spells than spells of her own, but that's an issue for another time. And how could we forget the iconic Rainbow Connection, summoning the power of gayness to scare off evil? We love to see it. The girls even incorporate their fairy dust into their Convergence spells. Ring of Fairy Dust creates a literal ring to keep the Ice Snake in the Omega Dimension from attacking while Bloom pulls off her attack. And Retrieval of Reality has them all unleashing their fairy dust at once to break through the invisibility spell that Valtor has placed around Cloud Tower. Flora and Aisha's combined spell to restore the forest back to life in the season 3 finale feels a bit convenient, but it does make sense given Enchantix is supposed to give them the power to protect their worlds and nature alike. Fucking eat your heart out, Butterflix, you could never. We've also got this Supreme Thunder Dragon looking thing between Bloom and Tecna in season 4, which, cool. And I will admit, as cheesy as the Oil Rig Convergence spell in season 5 is, Part of me kind of loves the cheese factor, and also it's just so pretty. Plus, the world is also being ravaged by climate change at the moment, so at this point, I'm all for the Captain Planet beating you over the head with the alternative energy, oil companies and oil rigs are bad message. Just, Jesus. The Trix have far fewer Convergence spells to talk about, but when they do appear, they tend to be more interesting than the Winx's modern Convergence spells. There's the, as 4Kids calls it, Mayhem Globe, which literally creates a globe of dark magic that chaotically runs around, shooting things with lightning, providing the perfect distraction for the Trix to break into Red Fountain, while also causing collateral damage. Oh my god, arson and property damage are rife throughout this franchise. We've also got those crystal dragons from the Season 5 Christmas episode. A bit out of nowhere, but it is cool seeing the Trix conjure up monsters to do their bidding again, albeit more aligned with their elements. I'm actually not sure whether this is a Convergence spell or it's an icy solo spell. I always just assumed that the other Trix were helping too, even though it was more ice themed. We're counting it here anyway. Stormy also created a similar monster in the Ophiel library earlier made of books. I mean, obviously these are just recolored puppets, but hey, it makes combat more fun. Can we just, that fight in the Ophiel library, I need to do a video on the fights. I need to, because Season 1 fights were the best, objectively. That Ophiel library fight got me excited for a season of just them throwing generic energy beams at each other. Devouring Chaos entails the Trix combining their power to overwhelm the psychic students at Zaltora and control them, only to do nothing else with them, but it's Season 6, what do you expect? Season 6 did admittedly introduce some cool ideas of other magic schools that we very briefly see. I would have loved an entire episode dedicated to Zaltora and seeing what it's all about, especially given their psychic magic seems very much up Darcy's alley. I sense a potential backstory idea forming for her now. And who could forget the Mega Trix fusion from the Season 2 finale? Again, out of nowhere, but holy shit, this thing is cool. The sisters' combined hatred of Darkar for betraying them and casting them into the void allows them to become an entity fueled by, as they say, bitterness, hatred, and revenge. Not to mention the design itself is great, being made of literal darkness with each Trix's glue mix across its body, and pigtails that will literally strangle you. It's a shame Convergence spells aren't what they used to be. That's par for the course with most things in this franchise, but I miss Convergence allowing us insights into the characters and their relationships with each other. How when the girls struggled to work together, were fighting with each other, failing to communicate with each other, and letting their fears get the better of them, it would manifest in their Convergence spells blowing up in their faces. It's a very unique way of representing the ideas of teamwork and personal growth that deserve better than what they've decayed into. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this from me, then be sure to subscribe and ring that bell for notifications to stay informed of future videos, because YouTube hates creators. And if you'd like to support myself and the channel, then you can pledge your support over on Patreon, as well as pre-order my upcoming debut urban fantasy novel, Desenerbis from the Ashes, on Amazon or wherever else you get your books. I'm the Unicorn of War, and this has been a shit show.